Hello, everybody. Welcome to the local Pundit.
If it comes in, what a goal!
Oh no! Celebrate! Are you kidding?
The Reds are still top of the league.
And on it, gamers.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the local Pundit. Today is the Footie Tips Show. It is Pundit Picks, and I decided to go with the new intro video today, and I love it. We get all the action of Josh and his excitement, throwing off his hat, seeing what's going on. It is super exciting. We cannot wait. It is very funny. But I tell you what, this league is doing my head in terms of trying to tip teams, and it is very, very tricky. But it has been quite interesting. I tell you what I might do first off is I might bring up the actual sheet and show everybody. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Danny DeLong and some other guy, creative accounting incoming. Absolutely. It's going to have to be some creative incoming because if I'm going to stay in front, the way Aaron's going at the moment, I'm going to have to get something sorted. So here we are. Let me bring it in. Add to stage. There we go. Okay. So as you will see, I only got 2 games right last weekend. Holy dooly. And Paddy got 7. Aaron got 6. Yeah. So, yeah. And so went John 5, all of South America 3, because poor old Victor's been under the pump lately. Forgot to get his tips in. So, yeah, very, very tricky for him. And Harry all over got 6. But if I go to the totals, I'll slide them across for everybody to see. So we have in last place, John in last place. What can we say? So there we go. John in last place on 84. All these numbers are right, people. I did correct the error of my ways when I tried to give Wrexham a win. That's just being a fan. Sorry, but I take it back. Last place is Victor. Victor's on 80 points. So all of South America. John on 84. Then Harry all over on 86. Paddy has slipped back a little bit to 90 points. But the big mover and shaker is Aaron. He has moved to within 2 points of the lead on 101 points. So he has done very, very, very well. He has climbed back up the ladder. And I will tell you now that I do have I have myself, Paddy's, Aaron's, and Harry's tips in all ready for the week. And Bono C, you are absolutely right. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Well, let's not call it cheating. Let's call it, creative account. I'll go with Josh's creative accounting theme. If you ain't doing some creative accounting, you've got no chance. So, but I might work them backwards, I think, from the bottom of the screen to the top. And what I've got here is everybody's tips are here ready to go. And we'll start with Sheffield United at home to Birmingham this weekend. Now, in this game, we have Birmingham sitting in 13th place with a draw and 2 losses in their last 3 games. And they are travelling away to Sheffield United, who've had a loss, a draw, and a win. But, I mean, before their loss and a draw, they did have 3 wins on the bounce. Now, let's bring up everybody's tips there. Well, not everybody, but as you can see, Harry Allover's tipped a 1-1 draw. Aaron and both Paddy have tipped Sheffield United to win 2-0 to continue Birmingham's misery. And I have tipped the same misery for Birmingham, but with a different result. I think they will get a game. So, and we will wait with bated breath to see what John tips for this game, because it'll be very, very hard for him to continue his loyalty, I think, because he'll have to really go and with absolute blind faith if he wants to tip Birmingham to overcome Sheffield United away, because Birmingham have been terrible lately, almost as bad as Wrexham. But anyway, that is another story entirely. So let's get into it. Hey, Andrew C. Now, next up, Ipswich v Sheffield Wednesday. Very interesting here because, I mean, Ipswich have been climbing the ladder, although they did take a loss in their last game. They're in 5th place, only 7 points off second. 8 points off second. They're on 34 points. And they have Sheffield Wednesday at home, which is, Sheffield Wednesday on -9, 4 losses and a draw in their last 5. So terrible. But let's have a look. So I'm not going to be surprised here. Yep, 2-0 for Harry all over, 3-0 for Aaron, 3-0 for Paddy, and 3-1 for me. I'm tipping Sheffield Wednesday to at least score a goal, but definitely get a loss. Now, I did have a little bet with Paddy that by Christmas, Sheffield Wednesday wouldn't get back to 0 points. We didn't put anything on it, but I said they wouldn't do it. At that point in time when we made that bet, Sheffield Wednesday were -4. They then got a 6-point penalty and went to -10. So even without that 6-point penalty, they would still only be on -3. And if I just look closely now, pre-Christmas, I'm pretty certain, this is their last game. So they would have to win this game to get back to 0 points in that bet. Now, is that going to happen? No. So we will see, though. We will see. Sean Deasy coming in with the Mad Owl type comedy here. Not a fan of draws. That's why I wear shorts. Good dad joke there, Sean, and it only deserves a second for being such a bad dad joke. But anyway, next up, as I work my way up the table, I have Bristol at home to Middlesbrough. Now, Bristol sitting there on, where are they? Yeah, in 11th on 30 points in such a tightly congested table. They are literally only 4 points out of the playoffs, and they are at home to Middlesbrough, who are sitting in second. So Bristol have had a loss, a draw, a loss last 3. Middlesbrough's been on a tear. They've won their last 4 games. But we'll see what everybody has decided to do here in this game. Yep, I've tipped a draw. I'm tipping Bristol to maybe stop Middlesbrough's run of wins, only because they're at home. Whereas everybody else that's put their tips in so far, Paddy, Aaron, and Harry, have all tipped wins to Middlesbrough. Paddy 2-0, and Aaron and Harry all over have tipped 2-1 to Middlesbrough. So not surprising, but I'm going for a slight, upset, just a little bit. Yeah, so, but next up, QPR v Leicester. Interesting here because QPR, solid team, sitting in 9th, only 1 win outside the playoffs. Leicester sitting in, where are they? They're sitting in 8th place on 31 points as well. So literally either one of these teams could move into a playoff position after this game. So a really, really, dire match. QPR has a -5 goal difference. Leicester has a positive 3 goal difference. Last 3 games, Leicester win, draw, win. QPR loss, win. But QPR are at home. So let's have a look here at the boys' tips. I've actually gone for a 1-1 draw. Paddy's gone for Leicester to continue some form and actually win 2-1. Aaron's gone for the 1-1 draw. And Harry all over has gone for a big win for Leicester of 3-1. Now, I mean, obviously this would put Leicester right back up into playoff contention, not including any incoming points deduction, if it's ever going to happen, people. Should be in January, but we will see. Time will tell. So next up, Derby at home to Portsmouth. Excuse me a sec. Excuse me. Anyway, a bit of a sneeze there. Derby at home to Portsmouth. Derby are sitting on, where are they? They are not actually, I'm just looking for them now. Oh, there they are. Yeah, 12th spot and 30 points. So, like I said, such a tight table. I mean, all the way down to us in 15th with West Brom on 28. So 16th all the way through to, let's go 3rd. 35 points. There's only a 7-point gap between those teams because then get a bit of a gap for Middlesbrough and Coventry. But Derby sitting there in 12th on 30 points with a win, a draw, and a loss in their last 3, at home to Portsmouth, who are literally in the relegation fight down on 20 points, only 1 point outside the relegation zone with a win and 3 losses in their last 4. Makes it very interesting for them. And the boys at the moment, okay, so here we go. Everybody tipping a 2-0 win here. Myself, Paddy, and Aaron tipping 2-0 wins. But Harry all over is tipping the draw, which now draws are costly for these mid-table teams like us as we start to slide down the ladder because of it. And I don't think there's more to come on that later. But anyway, Hull v West Brom next up. So we have Hull v West Brom. We have Hull, who did not do us any favours, but are now sitting inside the playoff zone with 2 wins and a loss in their last 3, only by 1 point. And so they're right there at the bottom end of the playoffs, and they're playing West Brom. Now, West Brom are tied with us, down on 28 points in 16th with a -3 goal difference, with a win and 2 losses in their last 3. So just the opposite to Hull, who's had 2 wins and a loss. Now, so very tough game, but Hull are at home, and I have tipped a 2-1 win to Hull. Paddy has tipped a 2-2 draw, high-scoring affair. Aaron's tipped a 2-1 win to Hull, the same as me. Harry's gone for a very high-scoring affair of a 3-2 win to Hull. So I guess the consensus here is Hull to just get over the top of West Brom, unless you're Paddy, and Paddy's tipped the draw. But either way, a very tight match and a very hard one to tip this week. Now, next up, John's best mate, Nathan Jones, Charlton, at home to Oxford. Now, Charlton have been on the slide their last 5 games. Yes, I brought the kids back, Rick. I put them up today. I just thought, I'll put them up. Andrew, I'll get into Southampton Coventry, probably the banger of the week. I'll get that in a minute. But Charlton sitting in 17th spot on the slide, a draw, which actually for them was an improvement because prior to that, they'd had 4 losses on the bounce in the last 5. And Oxford, who are down in the relegation zone on 19 points, only 1 point behind Portsmouth to get themselves out of the relegation, have had loss, draw, loss last 3. Now, very tough here. Desperation here for both teams, to be honest, because Charlton would not want to lose here. If they do, they are going to slide further down this table, in my opinion, and be even closer to the relegation zone. And on top of that, they have a -6 goal difference, which, in saying that, is the best of all the teams below them, but not by much. You know, there's teams there, Swansea -7, Blackburn -6, Oxford -8. So let's see what everyone's tipped here. I've tipped a Nathan Jones result. Tipped a 1-0 win. Paddy's tipped a 2-1 win to Oxford, which wouldn't surprise me. Aaron's tipped absolute donuts, 0-0. And Harry has tipped a 2-1 win to Charlton. I don't know about that, Harry. I don't know that, Nathan Jones' team score a goal and then park the bus. So we'll see. Time will tell here. Time will absolutely tell. Next up, Watford at home to Stoke. Now, here's a couple of teams that are, fighting to get into playoffs. Watford on 29 points with 2 draws and a win in their last 3 puts them only 5 points outside the playoffs. And Stoke, even better, on 33 points, only 1 win outside the playoffs. A win, 3 losses, and a win in their last 5 makes it a very hard one to tip here because, look, Watford have looked okay, Stoke have looked okay. Neither of them look like teams that are going to win the league, but definitely both have legitimate claims to making the playoffs. And, it's such a tight fight for those, 6 spots, of which I would say the only 2 teams I would, in my opinion right now, would say are going to make the playoffs are Coventry and Middlesbrough, just because of the points gap they have. Middlesbrough, a team that, you would say are producing constant form to say they're definitely going to make the playoffs. Not overall, but yes, of late, they've had 4 wins on the trot. So Watford v Stoke, what have we done here? Let's have a look. Okay, I've tipped a 1-1 draw. Paddy's tipped a 2-0 win to Stoke, which is more than likely put them back up into the playoffs. Not guaranteed, but likely. Aaron's tipped a 2-1 win to Watford, and Harry has tipped a 2-1 win to Stoke. So, yeah, divided opinions here, and understandably so. Not a very easy game to tip, this one. Now, Blackburn at home to Millwall. Boy, did I struggle trying to pick a winner here for a couple of reasons. Blackburn at home. So if Millwall were at home, I would have definitely tipped a Millwall win. Doesn't mean I haven't, but I'm just saying I definitely would have. But Millwall sitting in 4th spot on 35, but have had a loss and a draw in their last 2. Did have 3 wins prior to that, but they're travelling away to Blackburn. And Blackburn, who are now sitting in 20th spot on 22 points with a loss, 3 draws, and a loss in their last 5. Not great form, to be honest. Didn't think they looked that great against us. I thought we looked even worse. And I just think that we were lucky to get away with the draw that day. But it wasn't a great game to watch and made it very hard. The table says tip Millwall. Away to Blackburn slightly tilts that conversation, which is why I've gone for a 1-1 draw. But I can see why both Paddy and Harry all over have tipped a Millwall win. Millwall are looking pretty good at the moment. And I think that's a team that will make the playoffs, but a loss and a draw in their last 2, not great. 2-0 for Paddy, 2-1 for Harry for Millwall. Aaron's gone with Blackburn getting a 1-0 win at home. And I can understand that. Not easy, not an easy game to tip this one. So very, very tricky. I'm going to now skip over Southampton v Coventry just for the second, because that's the game of the weekend, in my opinion. I think that's pretty much, I think that's the game of the weekend. But Preston at home to Norwich. Now, Preston doing good things, sitting there in 3rd spot on 35 points with a +7 goal difference. Win, 2 draws and a win in their last 4, plus another draw before that. So no losses in their last 5 games. At home to Norwich, who've had a change of form and have started to play okay. They've had a win, a draw, a loss, a win, and a draw last 5. Now, sitting on 17 points and trying to fight their way out of relegation, which is no easy feat at this, in this league. And they're 1 win outside of getting outside the relegation zone. If Portsmouth lost and Norwich won, they'd definitely be outside the relegation zone because they're both on -10 goal difference now, which made it. So they're going to be desperate and starting to play better under new management. Definitely starting to find form. I've tipped a 1-1 draw, as says Aaron, but both Harry All-Over and Paddy have tipped a 2-1 win to Preston, which is totally understandable. Preston flying up high there in 3rd spot. But I'm actually tipping Norwich to get something done in this game. Not to get the win, but to at least get a point. So, yeah. Andrew, see, I'm going to make you wait till the very end because we do have – I'll go to our team now, Wrexham, who are travelling away to Swansea. It is the Welsh derby. There is going to be a lot of feeling in this game. And I might actually reveal these one by one this time. Let's have a look here what people have done. With Wrexham travelling away to Swansea, now we are obviously sitting in 15th spot on 28 points. Draw, loss, draw, win, last 5 games. Now, not great form, to be honest, if I want to be brutally fair. And not just in results, but in the way we've been playing. We need to improve if we're going to do something here against Swansea, who are below us on the table, with a loss, 2 wins and 2 losses in their last 5 games. On 23 points, so 5 points behind us with a -7 goal difference. Now, let's have a look here. Harry has gone for a 1-1 draw. Interesting. Aaron has gone for a 2-1 win to Wrexham. He stayed loyal to his team. I love to see it. Paddy has gone for a 3-1 win to Wrexham. He's a bit more confident. Good on you, Paddy. Love to see that from our team. And me, I have gone for a 1-1 draw. I must admit, I've lost a little bit of faith in the way we're playing at the moment. Doesn't mean I'm not supporting my team. I want them to win. I'll be happy to be wrong. I want the 3 points. But the way we're playing at the moment, I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing us getting the job done. Things have got to change, people. We've got to get better. That's my opinion. Whether I like it or not, we're just not playing well enough at the moment. Now, and we can get back onto that conversation in a minute. But next up, we have the game of the weekend, without doubt, Southampton at home to Coventry. Now, obviously, Coventry absolutely tearing it up at the top of the table. 21 matches, 47 points. It's more than 2 points a match. It's not quite 2.5 points per match, but it is bloody great form with a plus 30 goal difference, a win, a draw, a loss, and 2 wins. But, without doubt, the best team in the competition at the moment is Coventry. But they are travelling away to Southampton, down in 10th spot, on 30 points, who had a loss in their last game, 2 wins, a loss, and a win. Now, this is going to be a really, really good game. It's absolutely going to be one worth watching. I am glad that our game is the early game of the weekend, and we get to watch that, and then I can settle in and watch Southampton play Coventry as well. So I think it will be worth watching. Now, let's have a look at the tips from the boys so far. Okay, 2-2 draw for Harry, a 4-goal banger. That would be exciting to watch. Aaron has tipped, what's he tipped here? A 2-1 win to Southampton. I can see why you would go that way, Aaron. Southampton at home, absolutely. Paddy has tipped a 2-1 win to Southampton. I totally understand this, and I can see it happening. I really can. I'm not going to be surprised if that's the case. And then I have gone for a 1-1 draw. I have tipped a lot of 1-1 draws this week, and they were in isolation. It wasn't like I just went 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. When I looked at each game, I found it very tough to split teams. Here, I thought Coventry, obviously the best team in the comp at the moment, without a doubt, but they are travelling away to Southampton, who has found form. Excuse me. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. And they are the tips that are in so far this weekend. But as you can see, we're still waiting on John and Victor, or all of South America. He's probably waiting for his Argentinian friends, his Ecuadorian friends, all the rest of the countries down there in South Colombia, to get their tips over to Brazil and get their results in so that we can figure out Chile, wants all these countries to get their tips in so we can get the tips in for the week. But in breaking news, Aaron is definitely the form tipster of the last probably 4 rounds. He's been flying up the table. So it'll be interesting. Aaron and I have got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different results this week. So he could take the lead. He absolutely could take the lead this week. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. But, look, people, I don't know how everyone's feeling about our form at the moment. I will go quickly into that now. In my opinion, very ordinary. And we really do. And if we were ever going to get up for a game, even though I've only tipped a 1-1 draw, I want to be wrong. Are we going to be able to get up for this Welsh derby? Surely we are. Surely. Our last Welsh derby, Cardiff came to the Stoke K Ras and did a number on us in the Carabao Cup. Now, this is in the championship. It's for the points. We've got to step up. We absolutely have to step up this week. So, the playoffs are starting to become a very hard achievement now, sitting on 28 points, even though we're only 6 points outside the playoffs. There's 9 teams that we've got to get over the top of to get there. We've got to get over the top, and we've got to play better than 9 teams above us. Just think about that for a second. As we are rapidly closing in on the halfway point of the season. It's only 2 more games to the halfway point of the season. We're 21 games in, round 22 this week. Next week, and then Boxing Day, the Christmas Day and Boxing Day derbies are going to be marking the halfway point of the season. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. We obviously have. There's only Portsmouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Blackburn Rovers, and Charlton who have a game to make up. So, but everyone else by that day will be at the halfway point of the season. So also, just thinking about that, I mean, luckily for us, all those teams that do have a game to make up are below us. So that's a plus. But not super confident about our team right now. So I'd love to know what other people are thinking in the chat. Everybody out there watching, what are your feelings? What are your feelings around our chances of making the playoffs? How many points till? Okay, so Josh has just come in with a question. How many points till the end of the year do you think we will take? How many should we take? Okay. Till the end of the year, so New Year's. Okay, let's have a look at the matches. So, as I go into the matches, actually, if I go back, sorry, I'll do it this way. It's easier for me to do it this way. I'm just going to bring up Wrexham's matches till the end of the year. We have Swansea away, Sheffield United at home, Preston at home are our last 3 games, and probably, because I'm a day ahead, I'll count Blackburn Rovers away also, because that would be New Year's Eve for over in the UK. So we have 4 games, Josh, until the end of the year. How many points do you think we will take? Okay, so those 4 games. So, yeah, John, I am counting, and, unfortunately for you, John, you're doing very poorly. I don't think you can Skype too much. But anyway, I'll put the link in the Discord chat if you want to come in and have a chat. I think, my opinion is we're only going to get a draw against Swansea. And then we're going to get a draw and a loss against Sheffield United and Preston. Don't know which way, even though they're both at home. So there you go. We've got 2 points and we're away to Blackburn. I won't be surprised if we only get 3 points out of the next 4 games. Josh, how's that for pessimism? There you go. 3 points out of the next 4 games is all we're going to get. And I hate to say that. I really do. I want to be proven wrong, boys. Come out there and prove me wrong. Get it done. Get the win done. Get the wins on the board. We need some W's. And in saying that, it brings me back, I guess, to my point around wins matter so much in this league because, draws are okay, but draws only mean, a win is worth 3 draws. So, you're much better off having, if you have a win and 2 losses as opposed to 2 draws and a loss, well, you're actually a point better off. So, 61.33 points if we extrapolate our average, Bono C. Absolutely. But the problem is we're not playing as good as we were at earlier in the season. We're playing worse. So we're going to have to start playing better if we want to get those points. Yeah, Josh, ouch. You are absolutely right. I have predicted a very painful amount of points there. And Ricky Miller, 4 points till the end of the year. Okay. Ricky, tell me how we're getting those 4 points. It's either 4 draws or you're tipping a win and a draw. So, and look, we're at home to Sheffield United and Preston. So we could win either of those games. And if I had to tip one that I would be more confident of winning than the other, ironically, it would be the team higher on the table, Preston. That's just my opinion. Only because I think Sheffield United, Bono, we did stink at the start of the season, but we've stunk even worse now. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to bring someone in who might bring some more optimism to Wrexham, but I highly doubt it. Hey, John, how you doing?
Did you really say I'll bring some optimism to Wrexham?
Well, compared to me.
Why?
Well, I'm only tipping us. Josh asked how many points you think we'll get by the end of the year, which is 4 games. Away to Swansea, home to Sheffield United, home to Preston, and away to Blackburn Rovers. I think we're only going to get 2 points.
2
points. 2 draws.
Who are your home games? Sheffield United and
Preston.
I think you'll beat Preston at home.
That's the one I think we can win.
Yeah,
but I'm not confident.
They're a tough side, but they're better at home, I think. So I think that's a winnable fixture at home. Sheffield United are a bit of a, you don't quite know what you're going to get with them right now.
Yeah, they're more of a threat. So I told you you'd bring more positivity to Wrexham than I would.
I don't have you getting a point out of Swansea though.
There you go. See, yeah, lost to Swansea, and I can see that coming, and I'm scared.
Yeah, I said on Champ Chat on Monday night, me and Aaron sort of half agreed that it's quite possibly the worst time to play Swansea away because they've got a bit of positivity. They've had a few decent results under the new manager. It's going to be Friday night under the lights on TV.
Yeah,
tough game that.
Yeah. Tough game. Well, I mean, our last Welsh derby, we got handed our backside by Cardiff.
Yeah, but that was a makeshift team, wasn't it? It wasn't your first strength side, and it was the EFL Cup, and no one cares about that.
The problem is that makeshift team's about our starting team right now.
Well, it wasn't, was it? I mean, you're missing your wing backs, but your spine of the side, you know, your midfield and your front line and your defence is your normal side. So
yeah, fair call.
Yeah, stop whinging, basically.
I'm starting to sound like a pom. Yeah. What about you guys? How do you think you'll go this weekend in your match?
My heart says draw, but my head says we'll lose narrowly. I think I don't like us going to that. Well, we're shocking away from home in general, so you know, away games is pretty much rubbish at the moment. But I thought they played all right first half against West Brom, but they were awful second half against West Brom and deservedly lost. And I think Wilder was very well. He didn't throw them under the bus, but he basically said they were all rubbish second half. And whenever a manager comes out and says that, you kind of think, yeah, you're going to get a bit of a reaction. So yeah, I think I don't see us winning. You know,
no.
It depends what Birmingham turn out. If it's the Birmingham that plays at home, we've got every chance of winning the game. The only problem is that side that plays at home this season, we haven't seen at all play away from home all season. So
yeah. I mean, then Sheffield United, isn't it funny how you're not confident against a team below you on the table? You know, most people would think logically you're playing someone below you on the table, you're going to win. But
I'll be honest, mate. I'm not confident if we were playing anyone away from home right now, such as our away form.
Okay.
So, you know, we could be playing Sheffield Wednesday away, and I wouldn't be thinking we're going into that game and we're just going to win it comfortably. So,
well, and right now, that is the only team, in my opinion, that's guaranteed a relegation.
Yes, yeah. The relegation battle, I can't make up my mind actually. I kind of change how many teams are involved week on week, really. I have a sneaky feeling it will be sort of, you know, 2 from 4 almost eventually.
Well, the current three are the teams that I tipped to be relegated, but I'm not confident about that because I think Norwich has started to find a little bit better form under new management and might fight their way out.
They should do player for player. They should do because they player for player are too good to be where they are.
Now, do you remember? Do you remember a couple of months ago on this channel, everybody going, "We should get Armstrong. We should get Armstrong." I'm thinking Norwich is not letting Armstrong go.
Armstrong,
Look,
you mean Sargent?
Oh, Sargent. Sorry, Sargent. Norwich is not letting Sargent go. They're saying we should get Sargent. We should get Sargent. And I'm just like, they're going to fight tooth and nail to get out of that relegation zone, and they can't afford to let Sargent go.
It does look like they might lose him though, because West Ham apparently are ready to test them with 20 million quid.
Ooh.
So the rumours. Apparently, West Ham are interested in Hadji Wright and Sargent. Though apparently those are the latest rumours that they want one of those two.
Okay, so what's it? Okay, so let's think about this from a financial point of view. How much money is it worth to stay in the championship? Not what the player's worth. To stay in the championship, what's that worth?
It's about 7 million quid
a year.
Mm-hmm. Well, in revenue, yeah, we lost. Essentially, they said it cost us 7 million quid when we got relegated in revenue. Essentially,
and then when's your guarantee you're getting back into the championship? If you think, okay, if we sell him off, and we don't get into, and we get relegated, when are we going to get back?
I have a slight different opinion on that. Obviously,
okay. Good.
I don't think going down to League One is the whole sort of, basket case that a lot of people make out. And yes, I know for every team that goes down there, there's a lot of teams that get stuck there for your Sunderlands, your Sheffield Uniteds, Portsmouth, prime example. But any club or any, shall we say, bigger club which gets relegated, surprisingly, if they go down in a bit of chaos off the pitch, granted, you can see them getting stuck there. Norwich don't strike me as a sort of chaos off the pitch. They've had a horrific season, but if they went down with their ownership model still in place, they'll come straight back up. They will make the right decisions, and any club that goes down into League One with the right behind the scenes, bit of money, the right structure, the right infrastructure there, should come straight back up, because League One is not a difficult league, to be brutally honest.
Well, you proved that last season.
We proved it, and I'll be honest, you look at Cardiff this season. Cardiff are not running away with it, but look, by far the strongest side in that division, and you go through their team, it's not a particularly good team. So, yeah. So I like I said, it would be horrific for Norwich to go down, considering what their ambitions were at the start of the season. It's not end of world stuff. Somebody like Blackburn going down, I think could be really problematic because of the issues off the pitch and everything. Then it's a question of, can you see them coming back? I'm not so sure. Norwich, I think they'd do it straight away. But I don't think Norwich will go down like you. I think they'll get out of it. And I look at that bottom end, and I kind of look at it and think, well, for me, at the moment, it's between Norwich, Oxford, Portsmouth, Blackburn, and I sort of half put Charlton because of their recent run slipping into that.
Yeah, I'm nervous about Charlton. But okay, so a team that I think we could both agree is definitely going down is Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah,
they could do a double bounce, couldn't they? They could drop again, unless, depending on what happens with new ownerships, restructure.
I can't. It depends. I mean, with the administrators now, they will get shall we say, a decent owner, in the sense of they're not going to watch them go to the wall. So they will get somebody in there to take over the club, which, all right, might not spend oodles of money to get them straight back up, but will stabilise them. But Sheffield Wednesday is an absolute gigantic club. So right owners in there, I would not be surprised to see this time next year them, top of League One and a rebuild.
Ooh, that's a big, yeah, that's a big call in my opinion.
No, because I think obviously, realistic, it's going to be the perfect storm for them. Any new owner coming in, financial fair play, because Sheffield Wednesday have not spent any money for the last couple. So on the FFP balance sheet, they're going to have lots of leeway. The FFP rules the way they are in League One, as we proved and you guys proved. You can take advantage of them if you have got money. So if the owners do come in and they have I won't say deep pockets, but You don't need massively deep pockets in League One to outspend a lot of teams in there. If they've got enough money about them, yeah, I would fancy them.
Josh might buy them if you don't need deep pockets.
Well, yeah. Then he can put himself in the dugout. Could you imagine that? You're a club owner and he'd make himself manager, wouldn't he?
Actually, I would love to see Josh as a manager of a football club on the sideline, on the side of the pitch. That would be so good.
The arms would be going everywhere, and all you'd hear is danger, danger, danger.
Can you imagine? He'd be wearing his hat backwards, and that hat would come off, and it'd get thrown on the ground, and he'd be stomping around, and he'd be making interchanges at the 12th minute.
I tell you what, we all joke about, Just for Men. Give him a month in a football manager job, he will be using Just for Men.
Wouldn't he be going to Advanced Hair Studio to get plugs?
You'd be ringing his mate Wazza. Hey mate, where did you get your extensions?
Yeah, pulling your hair. Look, if any job is going to make you pull your hair out, it's definitely being a manager of a football club.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no, I mean, look, what do you think of obviously the standout game for the weekend is Southampton Coventry.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think Southampton do him at home, personally.
I can see it.
Yeah, I think Coventry. I'd be a lot more confident had Southampton not dropped an absolute clanger against Norwich, because that was a coupon buster if ever there was one, because no one saw that coming.
No, I didn't.
Coventry, I don't think they've not been their scintillating best like we have seen all season in recent weeks. And Southampton, as we know, because we went there recently, Southampton away, if they are on it, I haven't seen a better side in the league this season than them when they are at their best.
They look great against you.
Yeah, and they score goals. And I know Coventry score goals, but I just think at home, yeah.
For Wrexham and Birmingham, we don't want Southampton to win, really. We want Coventry to continue on their merry way. For the top of the league, a Southampton win is great.
Why don't we want Southampton to win?
Well, it just Southampton gets a win. It gives them another 3 points. It puts them, they're only 1 point in front of you, but they're 2 points in front of us. A win for them just keeps them above us. Like a draw or a loss at least gives us a chance to stay, to make them one of the other teams that we're fighting for the playoffs with.
I hate to break the news to you, mate. We are not finishing above Southampton.
No, me either. You don't have to break news to me. I can tell you now, we're not finishing above Southampton, and I'll tell you now, we're not making the playoffs.
I'll be honest, I don't think either of us are. I mean, I know a lot of people seem to think we've got probably a better shot than you guys because of our squad, but
that's fair.
I'm not convinced. I don't think either of us are consistent enough at this level. We don't win enough games. I think you don't win enough games in general because you draw too many, and our away form absolutely kills us. And you won't get in the playoff. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people say January's around the corner. Yeah, it is, but there's a few games in between there, and then January's around the corner for every other team in the league as well.
Well, here's the thing. Like you made a very good point there. You said we draw too many games. Now, we're only 1 point behind you, but full stop, we're behind you. Now, we have lost 5 games. You guys have lost 8 games. You've lost 3 more games than us. Our problem is we've had 10 draws. You've had 5 draws. You've had 8 wins, and we've had 6 wins. So just 2 more wins is enough to get you up, and so that's why wins are so important.
Yeah, and I think if you're being honest, both of us, you'd say, I watch both of us play. Yeah, well, I watch you guys I'll watch you guys tomorrow night because it's on TV and stuff. We are the epitome, both of us, of a mid-table side. We will look actually all right one week and we'll win, and we might even go on a couple of results and play well in a couple of games, and then you kind of think, oh yeah, it's not too bad. But then we'll have 2 stinkers, and we'll drop points in the next 2 games, which is typical mid-table championship. To be top 6, you've got to be far more consistent, and the truth of the matter is we aren't.
And you've got to be more ruthless. Like, when you get the opportunity to win, you go out and win. And now I've been pretty harsh today on us and how I think we're going, but I'm actually okay with it. I didn't expect us to make the playoffs this season. I looked at this season overall as a building season, and I want us to build into a stronger team next year. And I'm totally okay with that. But we're not good enough.
No. I mean, I've supported Birmingham for all my life, and the amount of seasons we've been in the Championship where we haven't had the owners and all that, but sometimes we've had decent starts, and you get towards Christmas time, you're 10th, and you think, do you know what, we've got a chance. But when you actually step back and you kind of look at how you perform week in, week out, you just in those seasons you kind of realize we're not actually good enough. On our day we can beat anyone. The only problem is we have one of those days every 3-4 games almost, and that's why you end up mid-table.
We're close to the playoffs. You've got to get up, but the thing is, you've got to get over the top of 7 teams, and we've got to get over the top of 9 teams. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll both get better as the season goes on, and I think January will both strengthen. Whether it will actually be enough to really do anything, I'm not convinced. But the thing that concerns me regards the top 6 is that I look at Coventry and Middlesbrough almost, for me, are going to finish in the top 6. Whether they get automatic or not doesn't really matter. They're going to be in the top 6.
Yep, agreed.
Ipswich and Southampton will also be in the top 6.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, there's only 2 playoff places available. And as much as I don't really rate Millwall, they are far more consistent than both of us. Can I see us both finishing above Millwall? No, because they pick up consistently more points than we do. And then you're looking at like a Leicester, Bristol City. It's one place. You're in a fight for one place with like 7 other teams, and realistically, then in those sort of fights, you've got to be near perfect to get it.
So right now, Leicester's on 31 points. How many points are they going to get a points deduction? How much is it going to be? That's the burning question for me, for them.
I think the latest snippets of news was that it's not going to be as many as everyone predicted, wasn't it? I think the rumor going around it was probably going to be around 6 points. And
okay, well, let's call it 6 points. That would put them currently on 25. Only 1 win behind us, and 4 points behind you. They'll climb back over the top of us before the end of the season.
You would imagine so, yeah. I think the interesting thing is whether they get charged or whether it gets done before January. In all honesty, I think, if it was going to be, we would have known by now. So January is a bit of a grey area, because if they've been charged and had the deductions, they will also have the off the field penalties, and it will determine what they can do in January. It probably works against them if they don't have it before January, because they might have to go into January not knowing what the penalty is going to be, and probably going to have to sort of, they might have money to spend, but they don't really want to spend it in case, more problems. So it'll be
but they don't need to touch their squad to still make the playoffs, in my opinion.
I think they need a forward to score goals. I think they are very lightweight up front. I mean, they're relying on Jordan James and the midfielders to score goals, which, their midfielders are top quality for this level. So granted, they will score goals, but I think if they added I'm not going to say, they should go and sign Josh Sargent, but, if they added a player like that, a proper confirmed clinical decent goal scorer at this level, they would be top 6 with that team behind them, and a guy up front that scores goals. They create a lot of chances as it is. So
yeah, fair call. Yeah, they get the ball consistently to dangerous spots.
Yeah.
That's that, and I think that's a fair comment. So yeah, look, this league is just looking so hard now to make the playoffs for us. That at the beginning of the season I tipped us 7th. I tongue in cheek tipped you to win. In all honesty, I still thought you were probably around 5th, in my opinion, at the start of the season. But you haven't played as well as I think you can play so far this season, which is why you are where you are.
Yeah, I would say we have at home. We look a hell of a side at home. It's just our away form is just, it's awful. It's relegation form away from home. So that just goes to show how good we are at home, that we are where we are. I mean, the latest news we've got is that apparently, due to the league being so volatile like it is, they will push the boat out in January to strengthen with an eye on trying to make the top six. That's not going to be transfers, as in buying players. That's going to be Premier League loans, because it's a well-known fact that Aaron Cashin and Lewis Kumas will be sent back to their parent clubs in January. There's the likes of Lyndon Dykes has all but said that he needs to leave for his international career. So there'll be 2, 3, possibly 4. Fujimoto, I think, is a well-known. He's probably looking for a club. So there's going to be a few outgoings, which will create some room in the budget to go and maybe get some players from Premier League, top-end Premier League squads, which aren't playing regularly. And
how many do you think you would ideally get?
I think we'll probably end up with 3, but I would like 4. But I as I said on Monday, I think with us we've screwed ourselves over a little bit in the window in the summer, where I think we've left ourselves too short in a couple of areas where, and we've had a few that we bought Brightside Samuel, who was essentially brought in as a replacement for Ethan Laird as a right back. And it was kind of those two for the position. The problem we've got is Brightside Samuel, other than 2 games this season, has been truly awful. And Ethan Laird has been injured since the end of September, early October, and he's not back till February. So, and a Brightside Samuel now has gone to AFCON. So we're having to play a Water at right back, not because he's suddenly turned into a wonderful right back. It's because we don't have a right back. And, we were all saying, well, we can't go and sign a right back in January, realistically, because then what happens in February when Asai Samuel will be back, Ethan Laird will be back, and then you've got another right back you bought. You can't have 3 right backs for one position. So, and we've only got 1 left back realistically at the moment in the club, which is Alex Cochrane, and he's been our only left back for pretty much all last season as well. And we've got Lee Buchanan, who had a horrific knee injury at the start of last season, who is due to be back after Christmas, but he's been out for it will be just over a year. So you can't expect a guy that's been out for over a year to suddenly come back and hit the ground running in the second half of the season and impact your starting lineup. So you kind of say we need a left back, and then but coupled with this, you'd say, well, we need another winger and we need another forward if we're going to let Kumas and Dykes. So it all adds up, and it's I think we might leave ourselves too much to do personally.
Okay. Yeah. It sounds it's an interesting pickle you've got yourselves into there, through no fault of yours, really. It's just injuries have played it that way.
I think it's injuries, and I think if we're being honest, the recruitment in some of the loans have not worked. Aaron Cashin, on paper, when we got him, everyone said, what a signing. It's a defender that was signed for 12 million quid by Brighton a couple of years back. Last time he played in the Championship, looked one of the league's better defenders. Truth of the matter is, he's come to us and he's been god awful, and he's essentially 4th choice behind Jack Robinson now. And Kumas, who I know you guys were linked with, sadly, he is exactly what Stoke fans said he was last season, which is all the pace in the world, all the effort in the world, absolutely zero end product. So it's, what use is he? And unfortunately for us, not a lot. So, and we've spent money, those guys are not cheap. So, Cashin apparently is costing us probably north of 30 grand a week in wages. So, it will free up some money. But then again, if you're going to go and get loan players from the Premier League, the truth of the matter is they won't have played much football. So they're going to come to you, all right, not injured, but very, not match fit. So, yeah.
Interesting times ahead. Interesting times. I mean, yeah. And for us, I look at it and I go, at the moment, we have no wing backs for our structure that we play. We've lost. Well, when I say no wing backs, we have Longman, but Macca and Barnett are proving to be not quite to the level required for this league. So we're missing Kabore and Kakache. We need one more for each side, in my opinion. Even with those 2 back fit, I'd love one more for each side, so that when you swapped out, you were swapping like for like. You had the same quality. I think we need, interestingly enough, we need a better finisher. We just
I
do.
agree.
Absolutely. We're not scoring enough goals. Like, we've only scored 26 goals in 21 games. It's not enough. Yeah. And then, I get onto Josh's debate about Parky and the way we play. And, if you're going to play that way, which I'm fine with, then you need better soldiers.
Mm. You're one of those teams. The way Parker plays, there's a lot of teams that do it in this level, but it's the old adage. It's both boxes, isn't it? Your defense need to be ideally. Your defense and attack is going to sound silly. Need to be the strongest parts of your team because you rely very heavily on your defensive side because you sit back quite a bit,
Yep.
and you need very good front line because you don't create an awful lot of chances. But when you do create chances, they have to go away. I agree. I think for me, you look aside from the outside looking in, very reliant on Kiefer Moore scoring goals for you, who has never been a prolific goal scorer across a season. He's good for 10 to 12 most seasons, around that figure. But you need somebody to lighten the load from him. And I think you need, the way that Parkinson plays, you need a similar type player. And the problem is they're quite hard to find in football these days, that type of player.
Yeah. I will say with my optimistic bent on this at the back end of the season, I feel quite strongly about this. I think Broadhead will have a stronger second half of the season than first half of the season. And I think that will help us out quite a lot. Will it be enough to get us into the playoffs? No. Will it be enough for us to finish solidly mid-table? Yes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think I'm a bit of a broken record on the Broadhead thing. I still don't understand why you signed him. I still believe he was signed as a striker, as a forward player for you, because you don't play wingers. Parky's never played wingers in his entire managerial career, so he's not going to play wingers suddenly. I just think the way that the team started off the season and how it all worked and was quite successful, and the way that you had your focal point in Moore and stuff, I think almost kind of scuppered Broadhead a little bit, because I think he may have had a different plan, maybe to play Broadhead up front alongside Moore, or I think he was.
I think that's what his original plan was.
I don't buy into this. He was bought as a 10 because he's not a 10. He's naturally a left winger by trait. He did play, I won't say as a 9 for Ipswich occasionally. He played just behind, so almost not even a false 9. It was almost like a support striker almost. And I just think the way that Moore started the season, the way the team gelled in that way, I think that's where, unfortunately for Broadhead, it put pay to his start of his Wrexham career. And I think since then he's struggled. Parkinson's just struggled to get him in the side in a position to get the best out of him.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that totally. Yeah. So interesting. Yeah, John, did you want to do your tips on the show, or do you want to do them after?
I'll do them after, because I'll be honest, mate, I haven't even looked at the fixtures.
Fair call. That was putting him right on the spot there. I didn't know. I was pretty confident he'd say after, and that's fine. He can now study everything that Paddy, Aaron, myself, Harry all over's done to see if he can climb the table.
It doesn't really matter, does it? Because even when I get my predictions right, you give me no points and everyone else points. So
yeah, you won't win. It's just not going to happen.
It was only by chance I saw that. I was on the PC one day and it just came up as an autoplay on YouTube. And you were saying, when he's bottom, and I looked at the screen. I was like, hold on a minute. I was the only one to get the Wrexham result right, and you've got everyone getting like loads of points here, and me getting none. I was like, what's going on here?
And hand on heart, it was an honest mistake. It was just an honest mistake. I looked back and went, oh yeah, he's right. But didn't. Yeah, it was quite funny. But anyway, it's but Aaron's been the form guy of the last few weeks. He's climbed the ladder. He's only 2 points off the lead. So yeah. But it's going to be a
it does amaze me. It does amaze me because I look at his predictions when he puts them in our chat, and I look at some of them and say, really? You think they're going to win there? And then like come Saturday, it's like, okay. So
yeah. Absolutely. He's sort of gone, well, here we go. I'll give you his last. He got 6 points last round. He got 9 points the round before that. He only got 3 points the round before that, but everybody had a terrible round. 2 points. 12 points the round before that. It was unbelievable. Like that was an unbelievable 12 out of, well, you add 2 more. So he only got 2 games wrong in round 17.
Yeah, I think I don't think I had a great week last week. I think I got 4 points or something like that.
Last week?
Yeah.
You got no. Don't do yourself so bad, mate. You got 5
because you got. I did all right the week before when you actually gave me the points I deserved, but
Yes. Well, ironically, you got the Sheffield Wednesday derby game right on the weekend because you forgot to put that tip in.
Did I?
Yeah, because it was a later game, and you forgot to add it. So you got the result.
Fair play. I'll take that.
Well done. Well done by not putting your tip in.
Yeah, I reverted to the guidance of South America there because
that's right. The Victor theory. Although the Victor theory did not work out so well for him last week by forgetting to put his tips in. He only got 3 points.
Yeah.
So that hurt. But he's a busy guy at the moment. So we're looking forward to getting him back. I actually do love his tactical breakdown. He puts a lot of time and effort into that. So I'm looking forward to getting him back. But yeah, in the meantime, we have to put up with Aaron's dribble.
Well, Aaron's always good, isn't he? The blue bastard. So
Isn't it great when one of us aren't on a show? It's just open slather.
Well, he's hardly ever on a show, really, isn't he? Let's be honest. I
mean, but it's like, there's no defense. So I sleep in on a game day build-up and they're into me, and that's totally fine. And then Aaron's not here. We're ripping into him. You're not here. I'm saying how bad you are.
Well, it's part of the course, isn't it? Blame the blue bastard. So
that's right. And Josh isn't here, and then we talk about how bad Josh is, and how good a manager he'd be with no hair. And
do you know, sir? I will give Josh some credit. The whole we're going to get. No, I am. He's toned down. We're going to make the Premier. We're going to get promoted this season. I think that there has been a bit of hint of realism has hit. I think in the last week or so that tone hasn't quite been so prominent, shall we say, recently.
Well, you don't have a choice when your team can't win.
No, but you're not doing that bad, are you?
No, we're not. No. But I guess. But it's all perspective, I guess. When you get 3 promotions in a row, you become conditioned to winning.
Yes,
which is a good thing for a squad because they expect to win. But now they're in a league where it ain't so easy, and and the player turnover has happened, and the team has gotten used to playing with each other. Acclimatized to playing with each other, but it's still that team is not the standard required to be at the top of this league.
Yeah, it's the older. I was having a discussion with one of the lads that sit behind me at Blues again when we were playing Charlton, and we were discussing how sort of at the start of the season the media hype, and it is the same with Wrexham to a degree. Everyone jumps on the bandwagon. They got up 3 promotions for you. Record-breaking season for us, or they're going to come into the league on fire, sort of thing. But realistically, as we were saying, you go through the squads, or you go through our squad. We were saying, how many of those players play for other teams in and around the top 6? If you take your bias hat off and you look at the squads kind of honestly, and we sit there and just go, yeah, there's a few, but there ain't an awful lot, if you know what I mean. And you will go to you go to a Millwall, for example, and you look at some of the defenders and some of the they got a wide player which I think walks in both our sides. There's players all over the place which suddenly your squad's not quite as good as you think it was at the start of the season, if you get me. And it's like
you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, like on the weekend we brought on Lyndon Dykes and Keshi Anderson against Charlton, and we kind of sat there and you just thought Keshi Anderson has always been a top League One player throughout his career, kind of struggled to make it at Championship level. He's a hard worker and he'll put his effort in and he'll give you 7 out of 10. Problem is his 7 out of 10 in the Championship is notoriously not been that, it's not top 6 level, if you get me. And we were sitting there going, if we really want to be top 6 contenders, you're not going to do it bringing those sort of players off your bench.
No, you're not.
They're not of the level that they need. They're not going to change a game. Yes, they absolutely would in League One, and yes, if you want to avoid relegation in the Championship, yeah, they're the sort of players you would be quite comfortable. But if you're saying, right, we need to win this game to, prominently get up, not game changers, and that's where it falls foul. Is unfortunately, when you play the likes like we did against Southampton recently, and you just saw some of the players they were taking off and bringing on in that, and even us with our squad supposedly strength, and you just kind of went, yeah, we haven't got anything like this.
Well, and I was going to say, if you take every team that is above us in the league right now, and then take your fan hat off and compare their players in their respective positions, their best players in their respective positions against our best players in our respective positions, are we a better team? And the short answer is no. We might be equal in a lot of spots and maybe better in one or two positions, but as a whole squad and a whole lineup, they've got better players.
See, from our point of view, there's only two players I'd take from you, and that's
Oh, okay. Well, wait up. Hyam, yep.
Yeah, and O'Brien.
Who can't score?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want him to. He's not.
Yeah,
he's not the sort of player. Yeah, those are the only two players I would say. And I'm O'Brien wouldn't start for us, but they're the two players I would say that would be good enough footballers to play in the system that we play.
In the system that you play. So, okay, well, then try and answer me this question then. They're not my two best players in my team, in my Wrexham team. Who are your two best players in the Wrexham squad?
Two best players. You watch them more than me, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's fair too. Well, do you want me to give you my two best?
Go for it.
Hyam, still. So one of them. Yep, and Sheaf. The problem for Sheaf is he's not a 90-minute player week in, week out, but no player should be. And I think him and Hyam are our two best players. And I think that, for Ben Sheaf, you need another Ben Sheaf.
Yeah.
And then for Hyam, you just need Hyam. He can play every minute of the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, for me, defender-wise, he's the sort of guy I'd put next to Clara.
What a defense that'd be.
The reason I didn't say Sheaf is that I like Sheaf. I just don't see where he would play in our midfield.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
because
so it's not about the player that he is; it's about how he'd fit into your system.
Yeah, it's almost like I would say Okonkwo is probably a better shot stopper than any of our goalkeepers. But Okonkwo wouldn't get on our bench because the truth of the matter is we need our goalkeeper to play possession-based football, and he can't. So,
yeah, Okonkwo's not that keeper. And well, there's an interesting question for you. So, next month, Danny Ward's fit. What's your who would you play?
Me personally, I'd stick with the guy you've got now because I think he's in the shirt. Yep. And I'll be honest, I think that's what Parky will do, because I don't think he doesn't, unless Okonkwo drops 3 mistakes in a couple of games.
Yeah,
he can't. He hasn't, as they always say in football, isn't it? Changing a goalkeeper is one of the biggest decisions because it can upset the whole back line. I think obviously, Arthur didn't start. He didn't
say Arthur all the way, but what did Danny Ward do wrong?
No, I think he just got injured, didn't he? I think the only thing that will probably make Okonkwo think is that, Ward was preferred at the start of the season. So in the back of his mind, he will know that Ward is the number one in the manager's eyes. Yep. Irrespective of anything that happened between now and then, Ward is the number one because that's what the manager thought at the start of the season.
Yeah. And Ward was dealing with when our defense was at our worst.
yeah. The only thing is, Okonkwo, he just it's brilliant competition for places because Okonkwo will know he cannot make mistakes when Ward's back, because if he drops a few mistakes, he's out and he's got the perfect excuse to swap it around.
Yep.
The thing that he will have the peace of mind is that right now, just because Ward's fit, Parkinson is not suddenly going to drop him and bring Ward back in. Because managers don't do that to goalkeepers. Not for two goalkeepers that I won't say are on a level with each other, but are challenging for that number one shirt. If it was a young goalkeeper who was like an 18-year-old and he was generally a backup, as soon as Ward is back fit, yes, you would expect him straight back in the side. But this is not that sort of situation.
No, and is okay. And Jem was saying top save percentage in the championship. Is AO good enough to become a world-class keeper?
No.
Can he still progress up that high, do you think?
No.
Where do you think his ceiling is?
Where he is now.
Okay. Which is a championship level keeper.
He's a decent championship level goalkeeper. There's better goalkeepers in the championship than him, point blank. I think the problem is with Okonkwo that, unfortunately for him, is in football now, you have to go up level. You've got to be better at your feet. Your distribution has to be better. You need to be more comfortable receiving the ball under pressure as a goalkeeper, and he is not that goalkeeper.
Don't think he could develop that. I mean, he's still pretty young.
How old is he? 20?
Oh God, he's only about 20, 21, I think, from memory. I'll look that up for you though.
I would find it surprising if he can, because goalkeepers don't tend to suddenly develop that. It's kind of something they brought out through their whole career, and they come up through.
24.
24. Yep. Yeah, no. Yes, he can improve with his feet, but his distribution is his distribution, if you get me.
No, and I agree with you there. That I think he can still improve that distribution. Can it be world class? Probably not. I don't like to limit people, but yeah.
Yeah, the truth of the matter is, to be a Premier League goalkeeper, you need to have all aspects of a goalkeeper in your game. You need to be commanding on crosses, good shot stopper, strong, get down to your near post, get down to but also you need to be calm under pressure, receive the ball, be able to pass the ball out, because that's how everyone in the Premier League, that's how clubs play in the Premier League. If you haven't got one of those facets to your game, you won't get a Premier League club. Because
so you go back to his peak, Ben Foster at his peak, so previous Wrexham keeper.
Previous Birmingham keeper too, yeah.
Yeah, a better keeper than Okonkwo now.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we had probably Ben Foster, I would argue, possibly at his peak, right at his peak, when we won the League Cup. He was fantastic. I mean, we were so blessed because we had Joe Hart before Ben Foster, and we had Joe Hart just as he was coming. We had him on loan from Man City before he went on to become the Man City number one and England number one. But even then, I remember Joe Hart and Ben Foster, and we all said Ben Foster was wonderful, but he was nowhere near as good as Joe Hart. So there's always levels. So, but yeah, that sort of level of goalkeeper. I mean, if in all fairness to Ben Foster, like I said, wonderful goalkeeper, but he played at the Premier League level for Birmingham and Watford, who are two clubs that ultimately got relegated, or were it wasn't like he was playing for a top 5 Premier League club here, and that's how good he was. So it's a tough one, goalkeepers nowadays, especially with modern football, the way it's evolved.
So many levels in football, isn't there, John? Like, levels of players. There's so many levels that, this is, when you think about it, you go, well, and Wrexham can attest to that from obviously playing in the National League. And AO, best keeper in the division. Shut up, John. I don't know capital clarity.
I'll give you one better goalkeeper already, and that's the Stoke goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's just better. Yeah.
And Bono C, there you go, capital clarity. Okonkwo not being selected for AFCON speaks volumes.
But yeah,
It's the levels. It's the levels in football. Like, you look at some of the teams we both played last season compared to the teams we're playing this season. And it is, he is not decent short capital clarity. Unfortunately, he is not. And he knows he's not. Like, you look at his confidence distributing the ball with his feet, not confident. The difference between the teams we played last season and the teams we're playing this season is night and day.
Yeah. When we played Newcastle in the FA Cup last season, and all right, I think there was 3 or 4 players from what you would classify as Newcastle starting 11, but the rest of it was kind of squad players. And the level that those guys were, I mean, we were sat there watching it, me and my dad, and the thing that we noticed was like everyone was every position across the pitch. So, your fullbacks to your wingers to center, everyone was plus 6 foot and everyone was an athlete. So, your quickest player on our side was no quicker than pretty much anyone on their entire squad. And, I remember, I mean, they had Tonali playing, and I think it was Bruno Guimaraes playing. And, just the sheer movement, the physicality, the touch and all that. And we just sat there and you just thought, this is what Premier League is. This is just levels where, to make it in Premier League these days, you need to be 6 foot plus, an absolute athlete, but have every aspect to your game, the touch, the pass, the move, the speed. It's just like, it's no wonder that gap is huge between Premier League and Championship, because it's like, if this is week in, week out in the Premier League, and this is a lot of their, not reserve side, but their backups, and you just thought, we got some way to go to get anywhere near that.
Well, actually, and I was just looking then, I just had a thought. You guys, come January, have got to play, I think it's Cambridge United. Is it FA Cup?
Yes.
Interesting. You get, what's that, a League Two side. And so you would absolutely expect to win that game. Is that, I mean, it'd be interesting to see. What I'm interested to see in that game is what squad you put out.
It'll be well, it depends obviously on business that we've done, because I think, like I mentioned earlier, some of the loan players I think will go back pretty much as soon as the window opens. I don't think we'll get new loan players in right away. That will probably go into the January month. So me saying I would expect a fully rotated side against them, it might, in certain positions we might not be able to rotate. But yeah, I fully expect a sort of, Kyogo to play, and the likes of Keshi Anderson and people like that, and Mark Leonard to get a game. And if Fujimoto's still there and hasn't left, sort of game I expect him to get some minutes in. So it's,
and we come up against an equally weak team in Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh, they're in the dumps, mate. They're in 16th spot in the Premier League. So that will be very interesting indeed. So Nottingham Forest have to travel to the Stoke Coras to play us. So that will be interesting for them in and of itself, to see what squad they bring. They have 5 matches to go before they play us, which is interesting. So they've got Fulham away, Man City. Here's their warm-up games, guys, before they play Wrexham. Away to Fulham, home to Man City, home to Everton, away to Aston Villa, and away to West Ham United, before they are shaking in their boots and coming to the Stoke Coras to play us.
It's one of those, isn't it? I'm sure all the Wrexham fans are, because it's a Premier League tie, and I guess you guys haven't played too many Premier League teams in recent years.
I can't remember. Haven't really had one in years.
I can't stand playing Premier League clubs. I'll be brutally honest.
And why?
Because it's depressing.
Okay.
I won't lie. I get the whole sort of, the first couple of times you draw a Premier League side, and it's you get the glitz and the glamour, and you see you're seeing players you see on Match of the Day and playing in the Premier League and that, and you kind of think, oh, this is. But I mean, we've struggled in the Championship for years, and when we drew Premier League, it becomes all a bit too depressing in the end, because they put out their total reserves almost, the total sort of backup players, and you kind of go into the game full of optimism, going, they'll rotate, they'll make 8-9 changes, they won't be all, they won't be sort of gelled together, they'll be unfamiliar, and and you'll be like, we'll put out a strong side because it's a Premier League side coming to town, blah blah blah, and then 10 minutes into the game, you're just chasing absolute shadows, and they're just light years ahead of you all over the pitch. You just sit there and you go, this is going to be a long day, and and then you concede in the first 5 minutes, and you think, oh God, can we go home?
I've got a Pommy mate who lives here in Australia, John, who's a massive Burnley fan. 16 games in, they're on 10 points, minus 15 goal difference, had 3 wins. Wolves 16 games in on 2 points, so they've had 2 draws in 16 games this season. Like, are both going to get relegated, and it's just like, and he actually says it. He actually said it. He said last season he really enjoyed the Championship because he actually got to watch his team win. And he said, now all I do is watch my team lose.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I've said it many a times. I'm lucky enough to remember Birmingham in the Premier League years, going into the season ticket holder back then. The first couple of seasons, it's fantastic, and don't get me wrong, it's a wonderful experience, but it sounds horrible, but when you're sort of just staving off relegation or hoping for mid-table mediocrity, it becomes really, really hard to sort of get on board with it, because you're just watching, you go to games, especially in the Premier League, you can have a block of 8 games in a row where realistically you've got absolutely zero chance of winning, none. And you're simply going in there saying, well, if they have a completely crap day, we're absolutely shit hot, we might get a point. And you're just like, and I remember me and my dad said the same thing. The novelty wears off very quickly in the Premier League when you're sort of stuck in that rut, because you kind of think, what's this all for? You don't actually, you go to games hoping you draw rather than hoping you win. You're watching basically, defend the Alamo for 80, 90 minutes every week. It's just like,
so tell me this, John, when you have a win in the Prem, is it a massive celebration?
No, not really. I mean, yes, it's a big thing. I'm back in those days, but it's almost a relief rather than a celebration.
Yep.
I don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have changed anything. A lot of fans, hey, we won the League Cup. I went to Wembley and I saw my team win a major English trophy at Wembley. There aren't many people on this planet that can say that, and football fans across the globe will, especially, fans of smaller clubs and that, than your top 4, it's the sort of stuff you dream of. I mean, our neighbours haven't won anything for as long as I've been alive. I wouldn't change anything. We got relegated that very season, and I wouldn't change any of it, because you're in football to watch your team win things, and I'll watch my team win a trophy. So
yeah, sure. Yep.
I think I'm one of these where I adhere to the idea of the perfect way to play. The perfect thing, or the perfect way to support your football team is win the Championship playoffs, go to Wembley, win promotion in the Championship playoff final, and then start next season in the Championship. Just don't go up. Just don't go up to Premier League. Have the whole wonderful winning feeling of the Championship, winning promotion through the playoffs, which is the best way to go up, worst way to lose, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But then stay in the Championship. Just not bother with the Premier League. It's yeah.
No. Well, look, I mean, it's what both our clubs are aspiring to. And obviously it's what the ownership wants. It's where the big money is. And if you can become a big club, which I think ultimately you guys are a couple of years ahead of us in that journey of the potential to do it. It's interesting, but I totally understand your point around, as a fan, this is a league that you can just thoroughly, live the whole experience. You get to have expected wins, you get to have unexpected wins, you get to have shock losses, you get to have not so much expected losses, but games you think, yeah, we're probably not a chance here. Whereas in the Prem, most weeks are we're going to get beat.
Yeah, I mean, the cold hard facts about the Premier League is you could spend 200 million quid a season on players, and you're treading water. You're finishing 15th. You know, it's mental. It's brutal, and yeah, I've long. I know our owners have got huge grand plans, and you know that's the only thing that I kind of look forward to in a way. I just think, well, if they are genuine, if they are genuinely going to do what they're going to do, you go up to the Premier League with some hope. But ultimately, hey, you never. I mean, you guys have never been in the Premier League, so if you get there, I'm not going to say it's crap and it's horrible. You enjoy it and it's fantastic, and for the first few seasons it will be wonderful. But unfortunately, I think as every football fan that's club's experienced it, the novelty wears off very quickly in that league. Sadly.
Well, I mean, I think the exciting thing for you and your club, I think that whole facility and that whole precinct that's going to happen is going to be exciting to watch. And in saying that, for Wrexham, I'm very excited to see the continued development of our stadium, and even probably almost as much, if not more, I'm looking forward to seeing the development across the other side of the railway line, with the brewery and the hotel and everything there. I think that'll be amazing.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an old school fan. I don't really care about stadiums and facilities and any of it really. I'm a bit I suppose I'm a bit of a football snob. I just want to watch good football. I've watched near 20 years of Birmingham playing slog it football and kick people up in the air, and I love what we're doing right now. We're playing football on the deck. It's exciting, and it's it's football I never expected Birmingham to play. So I'm kind of happy at the moment now. It's kind of like, well, if we go up, if the whole thing gets built, whatever, it will be what it will be. I don't really care. It's just I want to see good football.
Yeah.
I'd happily see my team lose 4-3. If it's a fantastic game of football. So
yeah, I'll do it if you'll do it, John.
What? Switched. Well, it's called
to switch jerseys at this rate.
It's a football shirt, not a jersey, for a start. Yep. And I've already warned you what would happen if you gave me a Wrexham top.
Interestingly enough, last time I was in the UK, I went and watched a game at the Den, Millwall game, and it's not by no means an amazing stadium, and it was a great experience. I absolutely loved it. It was a game I had no interest in. I had no affiliation with either side. Millwall went down 1-0 early and ended up winning 2-1. It was a great game. And I'd have to go back. I'd probably be able to go and find the game that it was if I looked up. I can't even remember who they played. But it was a great experience. The train ride from London out to Millwall with fans in there. Then the walking from the station to the stadium, and that whole experience. The amount of police at the stadium blew my mind. First time I'd ever seen that. I got to sit first row or second row, right behind the players' dugouts. Amazing. I don't know how I got that ticket. It was just I didn't do anything special. I just bought a ticket, and it was really great. And the fans that were there were fantastic. Came away from the game, had a great experience. It was a cold evening, typical. It was right just before New Year's Eve. It was a typical, winter's game in the UK. So that was fantastic in what you would call what you loved, that whole fan experience, And my mate, who's a Burnley fan, organised me to go watch that game. He said, you'll absolutely love it. And then I think of the stadiums that I get to enjoy here at home when I go and watch games here are world class. They're amazing. And if they're built correctly, then they're really, really good. If they're not, they're just average. They lack atmosphere. So they have to get them right, and I think the design of yours is right. I think you guys are going to have an amazing experience in your new stadium when it's done.
I'd like to think so. I mean, there's plenty of clubs out there that have big stadiums, but put my blue tinted glasses on, we are quite renowned as being quite a hostile, vocal, supporter base.
Yep.
So I'd like to think, 60,000, 50 plus thousand Birmingham fans in there will be a hell of an atmosphere. So, and they've got all the designs and how close it is and how steep it is, and hey, look, when it's built, we'll see how true that is. I just, like I said earlier, I'm not too bothered. I just want some. I know a lot's been made out of the chimneys and that. I want something different. It certainly is different, and I totally understand that progress needs it. If you want to be successful in the Premier League, it's got to happen. So I'm all for it. Yes, it will be an absolute emotional gut wrench to leave the place that's behind me, but that's the price of progress, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. Well, look, I think we've covered a fair bit. We've been going for an hour and a half. Holy dolly. Don't know how long you've been here, but it's probably been nearly an hour now. It goes quick.
Well, it's what happens when two Birmingham fans get together, talk football.
That's true. That's true. I'll have to tune in for that show when it finally happens.
Yeah. We'll get the other blue bastard on, you mean, yeah?
Yeah, you and Aaron.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, well, look, it's been fun today. I mean, we've got, we're less than 48 hours now away from the start of this round, where it kicks off with Wrexham travelling to Swansea and seeing if we can get the job done. I've tipped a 1-1 draw, but I really hope Wrexham do win, but I don't know. I'm not confident.
That feels like it's a heart over head prediction, that one, Ken, from what you're saying.
No, I'm pretty confident we can get the draw. I'll say that with my head, but if I was tipping a Wrexham win, that would definitely be my heart.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think we're a little bit like you, John. Depends on which Wrexham turns up. When we're playing well, we look really, really good. When we're not, we look pretty ordinary.
Yeah. I think I know what I'm going to predict for you guys, sadly, for you. I just think they've got the tools to hurt you in your current predicament with your wing backs. And they've got a guy up front I really like in that Vipotnik, I think his name is. He's a proper forward. Yep.
Well, there you go, buddy. Gemla 159's trying to put us on the spot here. Now, I know he said, Kim, what's your favourite team going to do this weekend? I just said they're going to have a 1-1 draw, but I know you're referring to Birmingham because that's what you're trying to say. In my opinion, I think Sheffield United are going to knock you guys out 2-1. And that's, again, you're going to probably tip Swansea to beat us. And all of my tips this weekend were done with my head. None of them are with my heart. I tipped Swansea, Wrexham 1-1 draw, and I think that will be the result. But, and I do think Sheffield United, even though below us and below you on the table, at home, and the only reason I say that is because of your away form.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I say it.
I think at the moment I'm leaning towards Swansea beating you 2-1 as the comment says there. I will be watching my favourite team on Friday night, Swansea. And I'll be honest, Ken, my head tells me Sheffield United 2-1 as well, but my heart might overrule it and say we might get a point, because I will clam onto some sort of straw of optimism that we cannot be this bad away from home again, even though we will be. So
I love capital clarity here. Last time we played Swansea at the racecourse, it was 4-0. We're not playing at the racecourse. And it's a different team.
So, yeah, I think we've all got one of those stats we could roll out to make it feel good at one point, couldn't we?
Yep. Yeah. So, but anyway, well, mate, it's been a pleasure having you on. Good to have a chat. Good to catch up. Haven't seen you in a little while.
It's always good fun with you, Ken.
Yeah, well, at least you and I can have some sort of reasonable conversation, unlike that other guy.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
Is he still in the hospital? The hospital room.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Well, okay, him too. I'm going with Aaron. You're saying
I was talking about the full-time guy, not the part-time guy.
Yeah, not the part-timers. We're part-timers. Josh is a full-timer. So, guys, don't forget, hit the like and subscribe. You'll have another Breakfast Club probably tomorrow. I don't think Josh will do one today. Tactical Fortitude tomorrow. So I'm sending a message out to Victor to see whether he's available. I'm sure Aaron will come up with a reason of how we're going to get his 2-1 prediction victory against Swansea away in tactical fortitude. I can't wait to see it and see if he can convince me. So, yeah, who knows? So we'll see. We've got those games. Then on the weekend, Josh is going to the Cosm. So have you seen that facility? John, did you see that last year?
I did, and thank you.
Owned by you guys.
I was going to say it's owned by our owners. So yeah, thanks for adding to Birmingham's transfer kitty by doing it there.
Yeah, yep. So he's not doing any of the game day. He might pop into the game day build-up with a cameo just to show people. So any of you that haven't seen it, look it up. Amazing facility. It's like being at the game. It's truly unbelievable. They've done an amazing job, which means on game day build-up, I will not be doing the build-up, but I will be doing the watch-along. Now, I'm not too sure whether I'll be able to live up to the Josh Anthony standard of danger, and the game, but you will get a different experience. And the last time I did one, it was absolutely horrible. I am much better organized for this one. I will have a much better setup. And hopefully, I'm going to be able to call a Wrexham victory away to Swansea. That's what I'm hoping for, even though I've tipped a draw.
All you need to do, Ken, is make sure you've got your hat on backwards, you've got something to throw around, and when something bad happens, jump up and down, wave the arms around, and accidentally hit the mute button. Then you're fine. Then everything's going to be absolutely normal.
I'll see what I can do. Well, guys, look, thanks for coming in. John, thanks for coming in, buddy. Hit the like on the way out. Tune in for the next shows on that bombshell. We will see you all.